What's going on, everybody? Greg Farris back here at Farris for Fitness, and I believe this is part 6 of my training video series breaking down my split, the Farris 531 Hypertrophy. Today I'll be discussing my lower body day 2, which is also my deadlift day, and you'll see kind of a posterior chain dominant day. If you haven't watched the previous 5 parts of this series, I recommend going and checking those out. This video will make a lot more sense, and if you have seen those prior videos, this all kind of starts to make sense in the course of a week, how I set things up, and like I've talked about in my other videos, setting things up for my weak points and things like that. And my assistance work tends to be pretty similar, especially since I have 2 lower body days. Like I talked about in my previous video, the other one's kind of quad dominant, and this one's a little bit more, glute ham dominant. Calf work is pretty much the same. So with that being said, guys, let's get into the workout. So here we are, guys, with my lower body day 2, which I perform later on in the week. And again, like I said, it is a deadlift emphasis and also a little bit heavier on the posterior work as opposed to my first leg day, which is squats and a little bit more quad dominant work. But there's still, like I said, a little bit of both, and a little bit of quad and hamstring glute work in both of the lower body workouts. So I'll just get right into it, guys. Pretty similar if you watch my previous videos with how I like to start off both my strength and hypertrophy days with the lower body day 2. The first assistance movement, if you want to call it that, is just more of the same deadlifts. Again, strength, you're doing 5 sets of 5 at 80%, and the hypertrophy, you'll be doing 5 sets of 10 at, that's a typo, at 60% instead of 80%. So again, the main part of my program is really progressing in those 4 major lifts. So it's really going to be the bread and butter, the staple of my program. Really trying to focus on progressive overload there. And again, that's a little bit more posterior dominant. Some people like to put their deadlifts on their back day or their pull day. You can also do that in my program. So instead of having, a push, lower, pull, and my pull day, I don't have a major movement. What you could do is just have your deadlifts on your pull day and then not have a major movement on your lower body day, your second lower body day. So again, you can kind of experiment with how you want to implement 531 and your hypertrophy goals, which is kind of the cool thing about it. This is just one way, the way that I've set up that works the best for me. So moving on to the second movement is going to be a quad movement, of course. That's kind of how I break up my leg days. I go hamstring quad or vice versa, just so I feel like I can recover a little bit better in between exercises. So the strength day, you see it's about 3 to 5 sets of 3 to 10 reps. And the reason why that's such a big variance there, some days I decide to squat after I deadlift, so I usually squat pretty heavy, maybe like 5 sets of 3, 3 sets of 5, things like that. But if I don't decide to squat that day, I'll usually work up in the higher rep range. So like a leg press, I'll probably stick around the 8 to 10. If you have a hack squat machine, I don't have a hack squat machine at the gym I typically do deadlifts at. But again, if I do, I'd probably do like a hack squat in like the 6 to 8 rep range. So any one of those quad dominant movements, the traditional back squat. If you like front squats, that'd be a great movement on a deadlift day for quads as well. And again, if I'm doing a squat type movement, it's a little closer to the 3 rep range, so pretty heavy. And then again, on the leg press, I usually go about 8 to 10, maybe 6. So I'm really going for a big PR. And then on my hypertrophy day, my quad movement is typically going to be a hack squat machine. The machine that I use isn't like plate loaded. It just has like a certain amount of weight on it, and I've already like maxed it out for like 15 reps. So I really can't do hack squats in the heavy rep range, but in the hypertrophy rep range, I usually can do about 3 to 4 sets of 15. So I like to do the hack squat movement there, or a leg press is a great quad assistant movement on your deadlift day as well, working up in that higher rep range. I kind of prefer a leg press there as well. I do think it has some merit with the lower rep ranges, but again, the movements don't change too much there. The only difference is I probably wouldn't back squat for like above 10 reps. So if I'm going to back squat, it's probably going to be on my strength day, and then leg press, a hack squat would probably be a more traditional style on a hypertrophy day. Then moving on to a ham. I just wrote ham ISO. So again, you see that routine. The only difference here is this is going to be about 3 to 5 sets of 6 to 10, and this is going to be about 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 15. So a little less volume over here as far as the actual amount of sets because you have the additional reps, of course. And the ham iso is I usually just pick between a seated leg curl or a lying leg curl. It doesn't really matter, just kind of go with your personal preference there. Anything that'll kind of help with, your hamstrings should take quite a hit from the deadlift, so it's really just kind of helping them out a little bit more, working them a little bit differently. Like I said, the deadlifts are going to work your hamstrings from your hip, and then obviously you'll want to pick a hamstring movement here that works it from your knee, so like a lying leg curl or a seated leg curl is what I have available there. The fourth movement is I wrote down isolateral. Sometimes it's isolateral, and sometimes I'll throw into some leg extensions. But just for instance, like what I've been trying out a lot of my strength days is an isolateral movement. So again, what that means is just using legs single at a time. So I'll start over here with my strength. An example of what I do with a strength day. It's like a dumbbell split squat. So you kind of have one foot out in front of you, the other foot kind of like you're in a lunge position. On the other bench, you're just holding the dumbbells. You can also do this with a barbell. And I have down 3 to 5 sets, about 5 to 10. So that's a movement I like to do. It's kind of like a total body or a total leg workout. You get definitely get some quads, definitely get some glutes, probably a little bit of hamstrings with that dumbbell split squat. And I also like some isolateral work with the legs as well. And then a more traditional, I also like to do that on my hypertrophy days. The only difference is it's usually something like a walking lunge, and the rep range changes a little bit more, 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 20. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing walking lunges very heavy, so that's more traditional on a hypertrophy day. Also, I touch this on my other leg day. I might do something like occlusion leg extensions on my hypertrophy day. And again, this isn't always isolateral. Sometimes I'll do a leg extension, moderately heavy, 8 to 10 reps there for more quad work. And then, it's pretty much the same as my other lower body day. The calf is always straight leg. So again, if you have just a traditional weighted calf machine, lately back home I've been using the leg press for calves. But anything with your leg straight is pretty much going to work for you. Here, 3 to 5 sets of 6 to 8, and on hypertrophy days, 3 to 4 sets, 8 to 12. And then the ab work is pretty much the same on my lower body days. The ab number 1 is traditionally weighted, cable crunches, Boso ball with a dumbbell behind my head, something like that. That can have a little more resistance. And then the 7th one is usually got body weight, so hanging leg raises, hanging knee raises, reverse crunches, regular crunches, anything like that. And the rep range here, traditional, 8 to 12, moderately heavy, and then here again 8 to 12, just a body weight. And the volume there really kind of depends on how I'm feeling, my time, and things like that. But it's usually pretty much the same as it is on everything else. So that's the routine, guys. As far as breaking down my strength to hypertrophy day, like I said before, you can put deadlifts on your pull day as well in my program. I've thought about doing that. I may even do that in the future. It just kind of plays, it shows you guys that you can manipulate things how you want. And it does, training 5 days a week with a Jim Wendler 5-through-1 does leave a whole bunch of flexibility up to you, because you have that one day that you can kind of do whatever you want, because you don't have a heavier movement. So, you could do, instead of the way I do it, upper, lower, off, push, lower, pull. You can, manipulate that, the front part, the end part. You could even do like an upper, lower, and then just do like an arm day if you feel like that. You don't do enough, arm stuff on your upper days, because like I said before, there's so many muscles in your upper body, it's hard to hit them all at once. So just to show you guys, there are a bunch of different ways you can, work out 5-through-1 with your goal being hypertrophy and of course strength with some 5-through-1 stuff. So that's the video, guys, breaking down my lower body day. I will hopefully soon have my final video up talking about my pull day, which doesn't have an actual 5-through-1 movement, but it does work with my program. And I'll wrap the video up talking about how I actually progress with my assistance work. You see a lot of my videos, it says 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 8. I'll actually break down how I determine if I'm going to do 3 sets of 6 or 4 sets of 6, or how I do that and how I progress with weights. I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about, is how they're going to progress in their program, which is really, really important. So, like always, guys, if you like the video, like it, go check out my Farris for Fitness fan page, share my channel with your friends and family, anybody who cares about fitness, and Like always, guys, I'll have more good stuff coming soon. Take care.